U.S. Air Force, we only ask you to play by the same rule book for once, to say that you're actually a military branch, for Christ's sake. But that's just my opinion as someone that's envious that probably should have joined the Air Force, but I didn't, and now I'm sitting here sulking in my own sorrows as new regulations come out for the Air Force that is progressive than we've ever seen before, and I will say other branches might actually adopt this. We'll see what happens. Big shout out to our boys over at Task and Purpose talking about this, and they opened their article saying this. Starting in October, the Air Force will break with decades of tradition by allowing its members to put their hands in their pockets while in uniform. God forbid the U.S. Air Force has any tradition out of how many decades they've actually been a service. Feels like they're trying to create something just like the Space Force every single time. Can we just stick to like some fundamental things like the hands in the pockets that would be synonymous across every military base? God forbid now you're going to see a Marine officer or senior enlisted person and blow their minds anytime they're on an Air Force base. That's not it. That's going to make them even more civilian than they already are. They're talking about walking and talking on cell phones and being able to drink while walking. Nicky, these are not big issues. These are just little things that regular people do on a regular basis. We're sitting here trying to live our lives in every other branch which is bigger than the freaking Air Force. Yeah, we can't do any of this. There is a point to all my madness of what I'm ranting about because it is actually important. I did want to mention as well, they're talking about new hair regulations, but there is a lot to this that leadership seems to be talking about, and they say this. We trust our airmen, non-commissioned officers, and commanders with incredible resources and significant responsibilities, and will need to do so even more as we prepare for future conflicts, said Air Force Lieutenant General Brian Kelly. General, this is not me questioning here, but could we not trust them with other mission essential things that might be more relevant than trusting them what's going to happen with their knife hands? It's like Air Force, you guys don't do any of that, but you guys know what I'm saying. I will give kudos here, though, because it looks like Air Force is taking a note from the Sergeant Majors of the Army as it is now looking to put more power in the non-commissioned officers at the lower ranks. Go figure, in war times, lower ranked people are going to have to make decisions and not just be robots. Also says, we likewise trust they can figure out what it takes and means to maintain standards without specifying exact behavior in every situation. I don't know, like parade rest, at attention, at ease, traditions that have already been the case as the military has been around, as we've understood these basic fundamentals. I don't even know if they teach this shit over at Air Force Boot Camp. So if you're not taught that, please confirm that for me. If you are, please perform it because I doubt you've done it in any time of your service other than boot camp. The article then goes on to talk about various leaders that have been captured with their hands in their pockets. I will tell you, I'm a person that's guilty. I put my hands in my pockets all the time when I'm just standing around, but not while I'm walking. So I'm going to have to say, so I don't know if they're actually going to be able to walk and have their hands in their pockets at the same time. I'm sure commanders of every base are going to have to figure this out. Then every base they go to, they're going to be like, what is the hands in the pockets rule here? Can you walk with them in? Can you walk with them out? How is this working? Do I get to do it in front of the general when he comes? The article then goes to say the crazy thing is that the hands in the pockets change is only one of the many earth-shaking standards to be removed or relaxed in the upcoming Air Force guidance. Here's what else is changing. Male bulk hair standards. The hair on top of your head, not on the sides, increase from 2 inches to 2.5 inches. Cosmetic tattooing. Tattooing meant to help a person look natural or normal, like covering up a scar on the scalp, is authorized for men. And the size of hair accessories increases from 1 inch to 2 inches for females. Hosiery is optional for females with any combination of dress uniform. Transparent piercing spacers are authorized. Wing commanders may authorize the local wear of approved operational camouflage pattern morale patches on Fridays or during special events. Again, a little bit of common sense here when it comes to the tattooing thing to blend in with the hairline or whatever else. And on top of that, somebody that is going to want to keep their spacers in, that way they can have their piercings when they're not on base. Okay, I can go with that. It doesn't seem like it would detract from uniform because it's not going to be too obvious. Sometimes it is. We in the U.S. military have hair regulations. We have all these things that, I mean, the Air Force already doesn't look military. And now you're saying, you know that long hair you guys already have? You can just do it a little bit longer, right? A little bit longer. And my patience wears a little bit thinner. Let's be fair here, though. When COVID hit, guess what happened? Barbershop shut down. They said, hold off on the haircuts. You guys can take a break from those because God forbid you guys actually take off your mask and you got to get a few shavings done. But what I want to go here is, did that really make or break our operational readiness to do our job? No. So I'd say maybe the Air Force took this as a sign as like, we can make things better without having to be the typical military. Now let's just see if the Marine Corps will take suit. Not going to happen. Leadership then goes to say, we remain committed to maintaining an iterative approach with our dress and appearance standards, Kelly said. During the most recent review, we approved several updates fully aligned with our Air Force standards and culture that maintain our focus on warfighting while providing options to meet many of the needs of our airmen. Johnny needs a little bit more hair to slick back to look cool for the ladies when he gets back from his different various, I would say, flight ops or whatever else they do in the Air Force. I'm being very naive right now and making some arbitrary things up. That is not to mission readiness at all, but if it comes down to making some airmen happy, I'm down for it. Here's a major breakdown of this entire story. One, we're one step closer to beards. I'm going to tell you this. If anything, we are going to see the Air Force implement this the first time ever, possibly, if they are going this progressive. And I'm telling you right now, there are people rolling over in their graves that can't believe this is even happening. On top of that, let's just look at the overall bubble of the military for 1 second. Have you ever thought about the different uniforms, the different regulations, the different requirements? For every branch requires different generals or admirals or whoever to sign off on all these documents, route it all the way up. You got to test out these uniforms or whatever else as well, these new regulations, do the poll, do the focus groups, go through the whole rigmarole, finally figure out, oh, they actually want this. You could go to Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, you're going to see what airmen, sailors, Marines, Army, whatever these guys want. You don't even have to do focus groups anymore. You can just do it online. How many thousands of dollars went into just the changes that we're seeing right here? Now let's just put our brains together, two brain cells, friction. What if, mind-blowing idea here, we did it for every branch? Just blanket statements. How about the idea of uniformity amongst everybody? Just saying, might be a groundbreaking statement here, but I know it's 2021 and we're still living like we're in 1990. So let me know what you guys think about these new regulations, updates that are happening with the Air Force as they somehow break away from being a military branch. They're essentially like the California of the natural disaster analogy that everyone looks at. Well, California's gonna, break away eventually. Or, Texas is gonna secede from the Union, That's another great example. The Air Force is just slowly breaking ties until eventually they're like, what do you mean? This is Air Force Incorporated. But I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments below about this and regulations. Are there some that need to be changed? What are they besides the beard thing we've already known about? And on top of that, talk about what you think about this. But as always, if you like what you do over at the channel, you can always support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. Also, the join button below this video for special perks and benefits here on this channel. We appreciate it. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.